Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into your stack of sources, really interesting stuff on the attention economy, your notes about feeling digitally overwhelmed, and that research you sent on well-being.
Yeah, a really fascinating mix.
Totally. And our mission, like always, is to pull out the key insights for you. We're trying to tackle that big question. How do we find any sense of meaning when, every 5 seconds something's buzzing or pinging at us?
It's a constant barrage, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you just sat? Like really sat still, without instinctively reaching for your phone, without any background noise, no multitasking.
Probably longer ago than I'd like to admit. It's tough.
It is tough.
Yeah.
And in this world of constant pings, it feels like the bigger questions just get drowned out. Like, what's the point of all this frantic activity? What does life even mean when you can't finish a YouTube video without opening 3 other tabs?
Scrolling endlessly.
Yeah. Exactly. But look, this isn't going to be some super dry, philosophical, beard-stroking session. We want this to be about your life, finding stuff that actually works. Okay, let's unpack this deep dive.
Let's do it.
So let's start with where we are now. Look through your sources. One thing jumps out immediately. We're smack bang in what some are calling the golden age of dopamine.
That phrase really captures it.
Right. That article from the Journal of Digital Psychology you included put it so well. This loop scroll, swipe, like repeat, it's not just a habit anymore.
No, it's deeper. Dr. Sharma calls it a reinforcing behavioral pattern. Each little buzz kind of locks it in further.
And the paradox, which that Atlantic piece highlighted, is just wild. We have everything instantly available, endless shows, instant answers, groceries in 10 minutes.
All the convenience imaginable.
Yeah. And yet, there's often this gnawing feeling of emptiness underneath it all. It's like we're totally overstimulated, but somehow deeply underinspired.
That resonates with so much of the research. It's striking how that convenience, which seems like it should make life better, can actually fuel that inner void.
How so? What's the connection there?
Well, think about it. We get things so easily now that the actual process, seeking something out, maybe struggling a bit, creating something, activities that used to give us real satisfaction, they often get skipped.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Like we shortcut the journey that builds meaning.
Exactly. And Dr. Vance's work on hedonic adaptation, which was in your notes, suggests our brains just get used to those easy rewards super fast. So we need more and more stimulation for the same little kick, leaving us feeling less connected to anything real.
That convenience, creating disconnect, that's really hitting home. It makes you wonder, what's actually going on in our heads when we're in that mindless scroll mode? Is it just laziness, or is it a deeper trap?
It's definitely more than just inertia.
I mean, we've all been there, right? Binge watching some show you don't even really like anymore just because Netflix autoplayed the next one.
Oh, absolutely. It's a cognitive trap. One of your sources, the one on attention economics, it called it passive consumption fatigue.
Passive consumption fatigue. I like that.
Yeah. Our brains, according to Dr. Ben Carter, are wired for novelty, for rewards. And these apps, these feeds, they give us this constant drip of low effort, variable rewards, a notification, a new post.
Like a slot machine for our attention.
Precisely. It hijacks those ancient reward pathways that were meant for, finding food or safety. And now they're just constantly pinged, almost addictively. So it becomes really hard to look away, even when it stopped being enjoyable ages ago.
Wow. So it's not just about weak willpower. It's our brain's design getting exploited.
Fundamentally, yes. Which brings up a pretty critical question. What's the real cost of all this constant dizziness? What's it doing to our ability to think deeply or to connect genuinely?
That's the core issue, isn't it? When every single second is filled with something coming at you, there's just no space left for your own thoughts to breathe.
Zero bandwidth for reflection.
My brain feels like it's got 12 tabs open, and they're all playing different videos. And the real problem is, when you're always chasing the next thing, the next alert, the next bit of content, you completely lose sight of the big thing. The why.
The underlying purpose.
Yeah. Why am I even doing all this scrolling, all this running around? Why do I feel so, unsettled even when things look fine on the surface? Why does everything feel so incredibly loudy but also kind of meaningless?
Those are the questions right there.
And those are the exact questions that get buried under the noise, which you actually touched on really well in your personal notes.
They require a bit of quiet to even surface.
Exactly. So it feels like we're running this race, but we don't know where the finish line is, or honestly, why we even started running in the first place.
A very common feeling, based on the sources.
Which leads us to think about what we assume meaning is. versus what it might actually be. Many of us internalize this kind of societal checklist for a meaningful life.
Or yeah, the standard.
Totally. It's like, go to school, get the job, buy the stuff, make sure you look successful, especially online, and then just keep doing that.
Rinse and repeat.
That's presented as the default path, isn't it?
Uh.
I think you even mentioned grappling with that framework in your notes.
And what's fascinating looking across the sociological studies you flagged is how often that version of meaning is completely outsourced.
Outsourced? What do you mean?
Like it's not coming from inside you, from your own values or what genuinely excites you. It's society's blueprint. It's what you were told should matter. Dr. Clark, whose work you referenced, calls it the prepackaged pursuit of happiness.
Prepackaged. Like buying meaning off the shelf.
Kind of, yeah. It's a template, not a personal journey. And look, achieving things or being stable, that's not bad. But when those things become the only definition of meaning, there's no room left for what's authentically you.
Right. And maybe you've kicked some of those boxes, looked around, and still felt like, huh, is this it?
Yeah.
If you felt that, that's not you failing.
Not at all. It's a vital sign.
It's actually, as one of your notes put it so well, it's like your inner self just whispering, hey, maybe there's something more here. It's not weird to feel that. It's actually a sign of depth, that yearning for something real.
A fundamental human longing.
And here's a key idea from one of the philosophical texts you shared. Meaning isn't usually found in the noise. It's found in the stillness.
That changes everything, doesn't it?
It really does, because
Yeah.
then the big challenge becomes, okay, how on earth do we find any stillness when everything around us is just buzzing and demanding our attention constantly?
Stillness feels like a luxury item these days. But if meaning lives there, then we need to figure it out. So how does this shift how we think about that massive question, what is the meaning of life?
Yeah, the big one.
Is there even one single answer? I mean, philosophers, psychologists, nobody seems to have the final definitive answer. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's part of it.
That's a really insightful way to put it. Maybe the struggle itself is part of the meaning. It suggests meaning isn't some destination you reach, like, okay, found it, done now.
Right. Not a checkbox.
No. Instead, drawing from those wisdom traditions you looked into, it's more like practice,
Yeah.
something you do continuously.
Yeah.
It's not one huge answer, but maybe like 100 tiny answers lived out every day.
Exactly. Meaning often bubbles up from those small, deliberate actions, what some researchers call micro-engagements.
Micro-engagements. Tell me more.
It's about being truly present. Like when you're talking to someone you care about, not half listening while scrolling in your head, but really being there with them, fully engaged.
Okay, I get that. Like putting the phone down, making eye contact.
Yes, or helping someone out genuinely without needing applause or credit, just doing it because it feels right. Or maybe it's getting lost in work that actually lights you up inside, that feels like you, even if nobody else ever sees or validates it.
Even if it doesn't pay the bills necessarily, but it feeds your soul.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Those are the moments, as you explored in your own reflections too, where meaning starts to quietly grow.
I love that frame.
Mhm.
Micro-engagements and micro-moments. Because it takes the pressure off, right? Meaning doesn't have to be some giant life-altering event.
Absolutely not. It's often in the small stuff.
Yeah, like that quick walk outside when the sky just looks incredible and for a minute, everything else just falls away.
Or the quiet satisfaction of finishing a book you read just for the pure joy of it.
Yes. Or,
Yeah.
sending a quick text to check on a friend just because you thought of them and they reply, wow, thanks, I really needed that today.
Those moments feel real.
Significant. Those aren't trivial. They're incredibly potent because they anchor us.
Anchor us.
Yeah.
Meaning is what grounds us when the world feels chaotic and distracting. It's like your internal compass. It's the stuff that lasts, that feels true, even when the Wi-Fi cuts out or your phone dies.
It survives the digital noise.
Exactly. It connects us to ourselves and to each other beyond all the surface level stuff. One of your positive psychology sources pointed out that small acts actually build resilience against that constant pull of distraction.
Okay, this is all making sense. But it leads straight to the practical bit, the question you raised early on.
Yeah.
How do we actually find these moments, this meaning, when our brains feel like, a million open browser tabs?
Right. The how-to in a noisy world.
Do we need some drastic life overhaul? Do I have to move to a cabin in the woods?
Probably not. The good news from the research we looked at, especially those behavioral change studies you included, is that it's much less about radical shifts and more about small, doable tweaks.
Okay, I'm listening. Small tweaks I can handle.
We basically distilled it down to 5 key strategies you can start trying, like today. No monk robes required.
All right, strategy 1.
First one, turn down the noise. Sounds simple. Maybe too simple?
How much noise?
Even just 5 minutes a day. Seriously, no phone, no music, no podcasts, sorry. Just you sitting with your thoughts.
Oof. 5 minutes of silence. That actually sounds kind of hard.
It can be, especially at first. If your brain is used to constant input, silence can feel really loud, scary even. But is it worth it? Absolutely, 100%.
Why? What happens in the silence?
It's like letting dust settle. Clarity can start to emerge. Your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, gets a chance to come back online instead of just reacting all the time. You shift from being purely reactive to being more reflective.
Okay, 5 minutes. I can try that. Strategy 2.
Ask better questions. So instead of the usual, ugh, what do I have to do today? Which just leads to a task list.
My default mode, basically.
Mine too sometimes. Try asking yourself this instead. When I look back on today, tonight, what will have actually mattered to me?
What will have mattered? That shifts the focus, doesn't it? From obligation to intention.
Exactly. It connects you back to your why. It forces you gently to think about what aligns with your values, not just what's urgent or demanded by others. You start consciously choosing meaning instead of just hoping it shows up.
I like that. Okay, number 3.
Follow the spark. Notice what genuinely makes you feel alive, engaged, curious.
And you mean not just what makes money or looks good on LinkedIn?
Definitely not just those things. I mean, what makes you feel something real inside? That little flicker of interest or joy or flow state you mentioned observing in yourself.
Yeah.
Don't dismiss those sparks. Follow them, even if they seem small or unproductive.
Why is that so important?
Because we're wired for connection and engagement with ourselves, with others, with activities not just for passively consuming content. That inner spark is often a direct clue to what holds genuine meaning for you, regardless of what anyone else thinks.
Got it. Listen to the inner nudge. Okay, number 4.
Connect. Like really connect.
Not just sending a like or an emoji.
Haha, no. Pick up the phone and actually call your friend. Give your dog a proper long hug until they sigh. Smile at that person you always see on your walk.
The small human or dog interactions.
Yes. They seem small, but the research on well-being consistently shows these genuine connections are incredibly powerful anchors for meaning. We need them. We're social creatures.
We are wired for connection, not just content. Okay, and the last one.
Number 5. And this one might be the most liberating. Be okay with not knowing.
What do you mean?
It is totally okay if you don't have it all figured out. If the meaning of life isn't crystal clear. Life isn't really a problem you solve once and then you're done.
It's more of a process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As that philosophical piece you shared reminded us, sometimes the search itself is the meaning. The journey of asking, exploring, being curious, staying open, that can be just as meaningful, maybe even more so, than finding some final answer.
Letting go of the need for a perfect answer, that feels like a weight lifted already.
Right. It allows for discovery along the way.
Okay, these 5 strategies: turn down noise, ask better questions, follow the spark, connect, be okay not knowing they feel manageable, actionable.
That's the goal. Practical steps for a distracted brain.
So let's bring this home. What does this all mean for you listening right now? Here's the challenge, the invitation. Sometime today, not later, not maybe tomorrow, find 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes.
Yep. 0 distractions. Phone off, or at least out of sight. Close your eyes maybe. And just ask yourself that core question we keep circling back to from your sources. What actually matters to me?
Sit with that question.
And be honest. Ask it for you, not for your Instagram followers, not for your boss or your coworkers, not for your never-ending to-do list. Just you. What truly matters deep down.
And crucially, if an answer doesn't pop up immediately, that is perfectly okay. It's not a quiz.
Right. No pressure.
Just keep asking, keep listening, gently, in those moments of quiet you create. Remember, it's a practice. The answers, the feelings, they tend to emerge in that stillness.
That's really the heart of it, isn't it? Meaning shows up when you finally get quiet enough to actually hear it.